So this is a story time of the time where I almost completely just freaking quit. We're gonna talk about my first, I guess, kind of like farmer's market kind of experience. Okay, so buckle up, get yourself a snack, or just, I don't know, do your hair and chill back and just listen to my voice as I talk about this embarrassing, very sad story. I want to say maybe like 2 weeks ago, I I finally went into this place called a cultural center. I've passed it many times. I'm out here in Denver, and I've just always wondered, like, what is that line of black people doing at this place? Like, what is this place about? And I've always tried to like find reasons to go in, but whenever I go up to the door, there's always like a voice on the other side of the door, and it's not just any voice. Like, it usually sounds like somebody's giving like a speech, like some type of talk or something. And I didn't want to, like, you don't want to just open up the door and interrupt a whole talk that you don't know what's going on. And you can't, like, I've tried looking on the site to kind of see like when's the best time to go in. There's no information like that. So uh I finally had gotten the courage to finally just go, and something in me just said, just open the door. Just, knock, open the door. Like, go in. Like, stop freaking passing this place without talking to anybody. So I knocked, no answer. Knocked louder, and then I finally, like, I'm standing there and it's just quiet. And then I finally see somebody who, like, pulls something through, like, the peephole up top. And he looks down at me, and then he opens the door and he sees me and he's like, hello. And I'm like, hi. And what I did was is I brought these soaps that I had already made a while back, my Black Lives Matter soap for Black History Month. So I made these beautiful, like, Black Lives Matter soaps, but the problem with them was is they morphed. They changed from, so they were white and black, but all the white turned pink. All of it. I don't understand why, because I've made it before. Um, it just decided to turn pink. So I was like, all right, well, I can just donate this and not waste it. I mean, I've been using a few here and there in my home, but I have so much and I don't know anybody in this area to give it out to. So I was like, well, why don't I donate it? And I want to donate it to the black community, specifically if I can. The people that really need a leg up. So I brought it to him and I like let him know that, and I gave him the soap. And he was just like, I wasn't sure what he was gonna say. Like, in my head, I'm thinking he's probably looking at the soap going like, what the heck is this mess? This looks gross. Why are you here? These are all the thoughts in my head. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna give it to him and I'm gonna see what he says. And if he says, no, we can't take this handmade crap, take it back, then I'll take it back and I'll find somebody else to give it to. I'll put it at there's this one area where this cart that you can just drop stuff off at for people to just pick up that's in need. So I was like, if he doesn't accept it, I'll just take it over there. So I hand this to him, waiting for his response. And he looks at me and he's like, wait, is this, so what is, and I was like, oh, it's some soap that I made. He was like, you made this soap. I was like, yeah, I made it, and it was white, but it, for some reason, it morphed, so it kind of changed color. So I figured, well, like, I definitely can't sell this, so I wanted to donate it. Do you guys offer, like, do you guys take donations and stuff? And he's like, wow, and he like picked it up and he's looking at it and he's like, and it's got the Black Lives Matter on it too, with the. And he was just like super impressed. He was really happy about the soap. He's like thank you. And then he gave me the whole spiel on their cultural center, about like how big and impactful that they are. And it's kind of surprising because it's like a small center to me, I guess, compared to, because I'm from Maryland, and I guess just all of our black stuff is pretty big. And I mean, maybe it's because I'm from like the Howard County area. Anyway, he was really impressed, and he was telling me about all the stuff that they do in the culture center. And then he was telling me about Black Dollar Saturdays. Okay, I'm getting to my point. I'm sorry, I know it's taken a long time. So I'm like, Black Dollar Saturdays, what is that? Because I think I read about that in a review about this place. And so, whew, sorry, needed to take a breath. So yeah, he invites me to this Black Dollar Saturday, and I'm like, all right, well, how much is it gonna cost for me to set up a booth? Because I'm very like frugal. I need to know. And he was just like, what? You like, just come. Like, just all you gotta just show up, and we'll have a spot for you. Like, what? Because they're all about like supporting black businesses and the fact that I'm trying to build something, um, trying. So I guess that is why he was interested in helping me out. So I'm like, all right, cool. I will definitely be here. And I'm like, do you have like tables or anything like that already set up, or do I need to bring my own? It's like, it's best if you bring your own, but if you don't have it, we'll figure something out for you. And I'm like, okay, so that means bring your own. I didn't say that, but that's what I'm thinking in my head. All right, well, when they say stuff like that, that means bring your stuff, and we'll help you if you absolutely need it. But um, I could provide it. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm gonna go the next weekend and just see who's there to kind of see like, what should I bring? What should I do? Let me try to get pre-prepared. So I go there the next weekend without, setting up my whole thing. And when I get there, there is there is a guy. There's one table. There's only one table. There's one booth in the front, and there's a bunch of men like at the doorway, but on the inside. So I'm like, all right, like, and there's nobody sitting at this table. So I'm like, I kind of want to know like what the vibe is of this like Black Dollar Saturday. So, and I was surprised to just see one table because he talks about it like it's a big thing, and to see one, like, what? Anyway, so I go in, and there is a guy in there, and I'm like, hey, is somebody, working this table? Like, I got some questions about your products. And he's like, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. And this, I don't want to assume, but he gives me a very like African vibe. I'm pretty sure he's African. I know he's like older. He had like this kind of, how would I describe it? I want to say it was like a straw like hat or whatever. Yeah. So anyway, he goes to the table, and he has a few products there, this, that, and a third, but he has a whole like tent up above, which I did not think about. Like in my head, I'm just bringing a table and some soap and something to stand the soap on, and maybe some flowers to make it look cute. So he, so I go to his table, and I'm asking him questions about the products, and I'm just like, okay, like, his stuff is cool. This shouldn't be too hard. Like, I can do this. Just bring a table and get something to put over top of it. I guess in case, like, it rains, or maybe you don't want the sun beaming too hard on your products. Or maybe you don't want your customers, as they're standing there talking to you, like, dying from the direct sunlight because, we're in the mountains. So, don't want to be too hot. So, anyway, I know it's, like, getting darker and darker as I'm telling this story. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come next week, and when next week starts rolling around, and I'm getting tired and more tired and tired, and I'm like, I don't even feel like going, like, I don't feel like doing this. Like, every day after work, I'm like, I gotta go to that cultural center to make sure that it's okay, because they don't have a sign-up sheet, they don't have anything. You just show up with your table and your tent, and you're like, hey, can I set up? Like, that's the vibe. It's very strange to me, but I love it. I'm a walk-in kind of person, so the fact that they're very, like, walk-in friendly is great for me. So I go in. So later during the week, I finally get over that laziness part of me, and I'm like, all right, let me go knock on the thing and see like what the setup is. So I go one day, knock, 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 and it was a very quiet knock, and then I'm listening in, and then I hear him talking, and he's going through a whole interview. I could hear it. It's not a regular conversation. It's an interview. I'm like, all right, next day, or I don't know, I'm kind of lazy. I kind of don't want to go. I don't feel like it. Ugh. That's my vibe, really. And then the next day, I was really like feeling like, oh, I don't want to go. I don't want to ask them. I don't feel like it. And then I just was like, all right, Pamela, if you at least, let's do the easiest thing. If you can go back to the center, ask them again about what you need to bring and what you need to do and what time you need to be there, get yourself a cheesecake as a reward. So that got me out of the house. So I walk over there and did I knock? Or was no, the door was just open, but there was some whole thing. There was like a camera and they're always doing something there, but there's nothing anywhere posted for me to know what's going on. You just have to show up and hope that you don't run, like, intrude. So I walked in and I spoke to the guy that he directed me to before about like stuff like that. Asked him the questions, like, what do I need to bring, and do you guys have anything to provide for me? Because I asked him again about like equipment that I could use, because I did not want to buy that whole thing that you put on top of your table, because I've been looking them up. Like, they're like $100, $200. Like, I don't want to do that. I'm not at that stage where I feel like I need to invest that much into this cute little hobby, I guess. That's what they would call it on Shark Tank, a hobby. It's not a business. I want it to be a business, but it's certainly at hobby baby stage. So basically he said the same thing, like, bring your own, basically. Like, that's the gist of our conversation. So I'm like, all right, I did the thing. I'm going to go out and buy whatever else is left that I need that I don't have. So what did I do? I bought a tablecloth, because I saw a YouTube video and they were giving you recommendations on farmers markets. They were like, bring a tablecloth, have a nice stand. I bought something to build a stand, because like I said, I'm not trying to spend a whole lot right now. And what else did I get? I bought, okay, so what I saw as an alternative, thank God that I'm on Instagram. What I saw as an alternative, I wish I could remember this girl's name, but I remember seeing some other lady who was just like, my husband isn't going to be able to go to this farmer's market with me, and I can't set up the thing above the table by myself to save my life, so I'm going to try out this patio umbrella. And she has a picture of it, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe that's cheaper. So I started looking that up, and yes, it is cheaper. So I went to a few stores. I finally found one that was in a price range that I was happy with. And then I saw that you needed a base for this. We're getting to the story. Just stay with me. You needed an umbrella base to get with this for the umbrella stand, and I didn't know that before. The only reason why I knew that was because while I was at the store, there was like I was like looking at the umbrella, and then I opened it up to see if it had a base, and I'm like, where's the base? And then I saw on the sign that you gotta buy the base separately. I went all around the store, could not find a base anywhere. I was like, ugh, I don't feel like going to another store. So I looked up on Pinterest quick like base building things, and what somebody did was they had a pot and they put some rocks in there and they just stuck the umbrella in there. That was it. And I was like, okay, I could buy a pot and some rocks, easy. Got a pot, went over to Home Depot, got some rocks. I thought I was good. So Saturday, okay, so this is Friday night, and I'm like exhausted because I just did all that shopping, and I've had to work throughout the whole day, and work is exhausting, full time working. Adulting is exhausting. So I'm tired, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So I was like, all right, well, I've been getting up early to like work out and stuff regularly anyways. This time it's not going to be different. I'll get up early as if it is a work week and get all my stuff done in the morning. I had a lot to do. So I got up, did my run, and I got cracking. So I had my self-care soaps. I still needed to bevel the sides. I still needed to put everything in wrappers. I still needed to create the labels. I still needed to print the labels. I still needed to put my little sticky stuff in the back of the labels and put them on the soaps. So I did that all morning. That took a few, maybe like, I started creating a system to make it quicker. So it probably took me about 2 hours, 2.5. It took a while, but I had a lot of soaps. So that was nice. Well, not a lot, but a lot for me. So yeah, did all that in the morning. And then I'm like, okay, I got to get all the stuff in my car and get it to this place. And I got to look presentable. Like I was still in my workout clothes. I was like, all right, let me go take a shower, get this hair together, throw on some makeup. And I did the bare minimum. I wanted to go all out. Like I wanted to do like color shadow and just, I couldn't. I was tired. I was singing while doing the labels so that I could finish it. Like I have to sing sometimes if I'm really, really tired because singing keeps me up and engaged. So, I finished the labels, I did my hair, I got my makeup, and I started dragging stuff to the car, made some mistakes, like, oh, I left my keys in my place, I gotta go back and get the keys, oh, well. The table I use is this really long, like, I want to say it's 9 feet long, a long foldable table, which, is usually fine if you're going short distances, but my walk from my car to my apartment it's not as short as it used to be. It's a little hike, and it's just me. And it's weird. Like I used to be really strong. I guess because I had jobs where I had to lift a lot of heavy stuff. Now I'm just on the computer doing this. Like you're not lifting, and I'm not doing muscle workouts. So I think my muscles are way smaller than they used to be. So I'm thinking, oh, I'll just grab this stuff and just go like I'm in my 20s. I'm not in my 20s. And yeah, that crap was so heavy. It was so heavy. I just had to muscle it up and get the table. So I got the table into my little team car. I think I already had my rocks in there, which is very, very heavy. Very heavy. I started getting my soaps together. I gotta grab all that stuff from the car and bring it back into the place. Anyway, we'll get to that. Packing my car with the soaps and with the with my chargers and with my little square thing because I bought a square because I want to be super prepared. You have a credit card? I got you. Oh, I packed everything. The only thing I didn't get to do was I never got to build my stand. I wanted to build this really cute stand, and I was like, I don't have the energy and I don't have the time because I wanted to be there at 11. Actually, I really wanted to be there at 10:30 for the setup because I knew the setup was going to take some time. Guess when I got there? I didn't get there till 3 o'clock. That's awful, but that's fine. I was like, if I could just put in 2 hours. At least I could say that I did my first cute little farmer's market thing, whatever. It's not a farmer's market, but in my head, it is. So I'm all packed up. I got my water. I had my tiramisu and some iced coffee this morning. I'm like, all right, well, at least we'll just show up and we'll try. I kind of knew where I wanted to park. So I'm in I'm in Denver. I'm in like a city. And parking is... Just the roads here is very interesting. We'll leave it at that. They're interesting. I've lived in quite a few places, so I know when roads are different. Roads are different here. Like it's very hard for me to kind of understand how things work. But I was able to navigate it and figure it out. So that was good. And I had already peeped where I wanted to park last time. So I parked at that place where I peeped where I would park. But it's just weird because the guy at the place never recommended me to park in that lot. And I asked him about it, and he was like, I guess you could park there, but there's street parking. And I'm like, oh, why would I park in street parking when there's a whole lot? Like, I prefer the lot. I don't want to be on the street if I could be in a lot. Maybe that's just, I don't know why he's just so pro street. But anyway, I didn't care. I'm in the lot. I started taking my stuff to the place. Like, first I bring this heavy table. And I ask him, where should I put this? Is it okay? And he's just like, just drop it where you're comfortable. And I found a place and I sat next to the guy. I did not realize how many tables he had compared to my little measly table. That guy had 3 tables and a huge tent. And I had my one little measly table. Whatever. So then I go back to the car and I get my like vase thing, my planter thing that I was gonna use as a base. Bring that out, whatever. It's a little windy. At least it's not raining. La, la, la. Go back and I get these rocks. Oh, the rocks were so heavy. Put the rocks in the planter. Do 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 do. Well, it's not like do 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 do. It's more like, oh, I got it. I'm an independent woman. I carried it. I muscled it though. I tried to bring that what do I call it? My visual merchandising energy. My I don't know. I used to have to do stuff like that all the time, so I know it's in me. It's just buried deep because I don't have to carry stuff like that anymore. Like not on the daily. So anyway, I bring it to the table. And tell me why the guy over there, like that I sit next to, he's like older, and he's like, you know, kind of big, and you can kind of like he's sitting down. Like, you can tell he might have like, you know, health things, and he was like, yeah. If I was younger, you know, I'd help you. You know, I really would. And I'm like, don't worry about it. Like, it's such a weird thing to say. I mean, I guess it's nice to say that he would have if he could have. Like, I'm not the type of person to expect anybody to help me. Like, if you help me, thank you. The people that I do expect to help me are like workers. Like if I'm at an apartment and you see me struggling and you work there, you need to help me because you work there. I know that's backwards. Anyway, back to the story. So I bring the umbrella out thinking, yes, I have it all figured out. I have my base with the rocks. It's funny now. It wasn't funny before. So I took the umbrella and I'm like, all right, so let me, you know, I'm smart, I got it. Let me throw a few rocks in my little planter, stick the umbrella in there. And I was like, I'm just going to throw some rocks around it. It's rocks. It's going to hold the umbrella together, you know, like rocks. Like, that's what they do. No. First off, it took me a while to figure out like how to get the thing to expand, and I'm like, all right, I finally figured it out. And it was just, I was struggling so much. This one guy, this one guy had like a random guy off the street, like, yo, like, you need some help? Normally I'm like, no, I'm good. I was like, please help me. So he was like holding the umbrella, and I'm like trying to get the rocks all around it, and I'm like, okay, I think we got it. And then I popped the umbrella up, yay! And then I figured out how to tie it up to get it up, and yay, the umbrella's standing up. The wind hit, and the whole umbrella lifted out of my base and went. It went, and I was like, oh, this isn't working out well. Okay, well, let's try this. And I'm like trying different ways to get the rocks and the umbrellas to cooperate. And then my bag that held the umbrella blew away, and I ran across the street, grabbed it. And then the plastic blew away with the barcode that I need in case I need to take that shit back. Blew away. Had to run and grab it. Things just kept blowing away, and they kept trying to help me, and I got, like, I'm wearing this really, I don't have a lot of clothes that I could still fit. I blame COVID for that. I used to be able to fit so many things. I can't fit nothing anymore. So this shirt is really small, so I know my little pants was showing, and they were like, they're cute, but they look kind of granny the way that it's not granny, but it's looking granny. Whatever. Anyway, the way I'm bending over, I'm sure you can see it as I'm trying to get my life together. And then I come with this brilliant idea, like, well, since the whole thing flew out, you know, the rocks are going to collapse. So I'm going to have to take the rocks out and do it again. So I did that. Pour the rocks out. The guy was still super nice, I guess. I don't know. He was it's Colorado. Anyway, um, so I'm still trying to set this thing up, and then one guy comes to my table. I'm like, oh, snap. I have a potential customer, maybe, even though my soaps aren't out yet. Well, I'm trying to get my umbrellas together. So I'm like, trying to get the umbrella to stay. And the guy comes up and he's like, hey, oh, you know what this building is for? Like, I want to help. Da, 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 da. And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not the one to ask, but you could talk to this person inside. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, this person's da, 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 da. And I'm like, yeah, I'm sorry. I can't help you, but I wish I could, but go and talk to this person. He's like, okay. And he was like, oh, I'm kind of stoned right now, and I got kicked out of my apartment or whatever, and something just weird. And I'm like, oh, you're high. You're not a customer. Okay. Like I'm being super nice, but please get the out of my face. Anyway, it's just such a waste of my time. So I'm back to the umbrella, trying to get it together with this stranger that's like trying to help me. And I tried all the things. Like when I was like, because imagine a bunch of little rocks, not that little, they're probably like this size, and I have to pour them all out. And if I were to try to describe it, okay, this is my thigh. So like this much rocks. You pour all that out, that's a lot of rocks to be using your hands to try to get it back in. So I was like, oh, I have this vase. Perfect. I could use this glass vase to scoop the rocks up like a shovel. You know what? You already know what happened because you're smart. Obviously, you're smarter than my dumb tail. Trying to scoop rocks with a glass vase. You know what happens when you try to scoop rocks with a glass vase? The vase breaks. The vase breaks, and that's so freaking embarrassing because the stranger guy, he was looking at me like, he's like, yeah, it's a glass, like, basically like, what did you expect, dumbass? And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know, like, I don't know anything. I didn't know that wind was a problem. I've watched so many freaking farmers market videos for them to never mention the wind. I'm so annoyed. So anyway, to stop my case from blowing away, like my umbrella case, I finally come up with the idea of let me go throw this in the car. And I finally had leaned my umbrella up against the table that made me feel like it was going to stay. Anyway, I start to I was going to grab my soaps, I think, out the car. And I never got to mention that part. So that same like African like guy was there again, and he suggested that I park across from where we were instead of at that lot that I was at. So I did that. So now instead of me going like back and forth to the lot, I'm crossing the street kind of to get to my stuff so that it's closer, which seems like a good idea. But the problem is there's a train track right there. So as I'm grabbing stuff to take it to and from this as I'm taking it to and from like my car, I'm going across train tracks each time. And I'm not even thinking about, like I'm not thinking about it. Like I didn't grow up with train tracks. Like I don't know. It's just not something that's in my head. So I'm like tired as heck, trying to fool with this umbrella, trying to fool with everything. So I'm like, all right, let me grab this stuff, and I'm about to just jolt across the street. Next thing I know, the people that's like sitting, that are like selling stuff too, they're like, hey, and I know they're yelling at me, and I look up and there's a train right here. I'm about to cross the street. This thing is right here. And then I back up. Like I almost lost my freaking life with this little freaking farmer's market, whatever, ordeal. It's not a farmer's market. I keep calling it that. That's what it is. It's a market. Okay? There might not be a farm. Feels like a market. Oh. And then I was like, first of all, my first reaction was like, thank you. Like I said, thank you to the people. And then I looked at me like, you idiot. Like, how did you not think to look both ways across the train track? I was mad at myself, but grateful for them. I was like, thank you. And then the stranger guy was like, yo, like they're supposed to beep. Like they're not supposed to, like usually when they do that, they have some sort of a horn that they honk to make sure that you get out the way. Like they didn't do that. So that's why, you missed it or whatever. And I'm like, I should have looked both ways. Like I'm an adult. Like that's something that you learn as a child. So anyway. Yeah, so almost got hit, and that was the final straw. Yeah. No, was it? Yeah, it was because after I think right before I almost got hit, my umbrella had floated off of the base all the way across the train tracks and almost hit somebody's car. And I think it was that African dude because he was really pissed. He came up to me and he was like, "Yeah, you can't have that umbrella up here because it's gonna mess up somebody's car." I was like, "Yeah, I know. I'm gonna put it away." He's like, "Yeah, but you can't." I was like, I know, I get it. Okay, like I caught an attitude. I did have a tone intentionally because you're not gonna keep coming at me. Like I heard you the first time. Give me an opportunity to react and get out of my face, please. He left. And I was done. I packed up my car, and as you would expect, the stranger guy comes up and he's like, trying to first he did something really sweet. He was like, "So what were you about to sell?" And I was like, "Oh, I got these soaps." And he was like, "Can I see them?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, of course." Cuz he knew that I was like done. Like I was already packing up my car. And I was showing him the soaps, and I named him, and I told them what they were all about, and he listened, and then he's like, "Yeah, I'm trying to start this business, blah, blah, blah. Maybe, we can network and, try to help you make some money." And then he started going into, "Yeah, we could flip $300 into this amount of money." And then I was like, okay. I ain't about that network marketing, money flipping. No. I'm too old. I've done all the things. They don't work. This is barely working. I'm definitely not. Anyway, I didn't say that. I was very polite because I was very grateful for the time that he's given me and the help that he's given me. So I'm like, okay, yeah, like I'll take your information and you could take, we exchange Facebooks. And then he left, and I'm trying to get my table into my car, and the guy's back there like, "You're not gonna help me get that table there, girl." I'm like, I'm not even mad because I didn't expect him to help me at all. Like, we're not together, we're not related, we're not friends. Like, he's literally a stranger helping me out the goodness of his heart. So why would I don't know. I wasn't born in a chivalry kind of world. I mean, I guess sort of. My dad's very chivalrous, in my opinion, in some ways. So, other than that, like, guys my age, like, you lucky if somebody opens the door for you. You're lucky. So, I'm not even worried. Like, I'm not looking at you as, like, a partner or anything. I see you as a stranger that's just helping a girl out that's chivalrous. Actually, he told me he was from Mississippi, so maybe that's Southern hospitality. I don't know. Anyway, I got into my car feeling defeated because that stuff's still in my car. I literally like broke down. Like I didn't like cry, but there was definitely tears coming down my face. I put up a bunch of Instagram stories that I deleted, so you probably ain't see them, thank God. But that's kind of the disaster that happened today. But the reason why I am posting this because I've decided that I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to try it one more time. I'm going to do better. I have a better plan to make a base because I still ain't paying $50 for no dang umbrella base. There's some DIYs and I'm going to try them out. But I have more time now. I have a whole week to try it out. So maybe I'll test it before I bring it there and make a fool out of myself. Because I think that's what made it even worse, is all these people there are like watching me fail. Like they're just, I'm a whole messy show for them right now. It would have been perfect though if I would have my stuff out there, because it's like Mother's Day is tomorrow and you can buy stuff from me for your moms because it's cute and whatever. I don't know. That's my little first farmers market story. Like I said, I'm not gonna just give up. I think I'm gonna try again. I have some soap ideas that I want to try out. I mean, I just read up though. What was I reading? I was reading some soaper's blog that was just saying that you should not be selling your first couple soaps. You should wait until you get good. You should wait for a year until you start selling soaps. Man, forget all that. Like, I'm gonna try. And if you don't want to buy it because it's not good enough, that's fine. They were talking about like tarnishing your reputation, because once you start selling soaps, it's bad quality. Then you're gonna be known for being the person with bad quality soaps instead of just waiting until your best stuff is out. And that's a really good point. But I don't know. Like, I think my soaps are cute. I'm gonna keep trying. And we'll see. I think maybe I'll give it one more week of trying. Should I just give it a week? And if it's like, I'd rather, see, I need to get some feedback. Like, if I got some more feedback from people, like honest feedback about my stuff, and if it was like real, like not great, then okay. Then I will stop and I will wait until I'm better. But I have no feedback right now. All I have is like family and friends, and they're going to say something nice. They're not going to be honest. They're not, maybe they are being honest, but I don't know. Maybe I probably couldn't take honesty from them. It's easier to take honesty from strangers because it's not like, I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Thank you for tuning into this long, long, long story of my failure first farmers market experience. I feel like, all the YouTube soap people that I watch are just super successful and perfect and whatever. I'm new. So I guess that's what's unique about me is I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I am constantly on the verge of saying, F it, give it away, sell it all, I give up, I don't care. And maybe that's my unique perspective of being a soaper is I'm a freaking quitter. That's it. Thank you again for watching. Bye.